shot up. That is in. Burns the win. Have room to run. Also district champion. Toronto, both there. Chuck Henry is. Clock running down. Walnut Road. Basketball is up.
Location. We appreciate that. We'll start out today with our head coach, Ryan Beard. He'll have a couple opening statements just about how camp is going so far. Then after him, we'll have the coordinators, starting with Nick Petrino and then LD Scott. And we've got 4 players for you as well. Center that up. Table back here. Thanks, Matt. Yeah.
Justin, continue. That's what you learn in your master's courses. All right. Guys, thanks for coming out today. Exciting time for Missouri State football. First, I want to thank Dana and Beth for letting us use this beautiful facility. Obviously, adjusting with the plans and the weather. It's always good to have a culture of people being on your side in an athletic program. They do a great job over here. We appreciate them letting us use their facility. Now on to football. Again, the guys have been on campus for a week now. In the dorms, ready to go, practicing extremely hard. The one thing I've liked about the group is they truly love football. They love the daily grind. They love the meetings. They enjoy, we've had some of the most spirited walkthroughs last night that we've had. It was 8:30, we got on the field and we had a kicking competition between the big skill, mid skill, and the little guys to see who has to get into the cold tank first, and they had a blast with that, and then we got some work in. And that goes to show their competitive spirit. There's a bunch of position battles going on right now that we'll talk about really, really soon here. But the overall camaraderie of the group is there. They care about each other. They care about football. The staff's done an awesome job being prepared. They worked really hard over the summer to put a good plan together, put a great install menu together. And again, I think that we're going to continue to get better every single day, and can't be a better time to be a part of this program.
Any questions for Coach Beard?
Stepping into this right now after a week, just kind of what feels the most different? And when you look at this team, look at your position and everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, I think if you go out to practice, the passion, energy that the guys are practicing with is extremely high. They hit the field with a smile on their face, and they're definitely tired. We keep them here for a long time throughout the day. They're worked extremely hard, but when you are passionate about doing something, when you enjoy coming to work with your teammates, coming to work with your staff, I think that's given us an extra jolt of life and energy. I think that's a huge difference. And we have about 2.5 hour practices, and they've worked extremely hard throughout. And one thing that we've worked on and talked about throughout the off season is the ability to finish games, especially in the Valley. You're in a dogfight every single week, and if we can continue to get better at finishing practices the right way. And we talk about it from the very first clap it up before stretch to the very last clap of your post-practice stretch, and I think they're doing a great job of that.
Well, when you say finish games, is that somewhere you felt like when you look back at last season and all the things that kind of went wrong there in that second half of the season, that's where a lot of that kind of fell apart? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you look at the Arkansas game, fourth quarter, I think we were winning the game in the fourth quarter against Arkansas, and then the eventual national champions in our league that blew the other team out in the national championship. We were tied in the fourth quarter. And that's what we go back to, because you have to be honest with yourself about evaluating exactly where you're at as a program, as a team, and looking at those shortcomings from the last season, trying to grow and evolve and hit on those key points of what make you a championship program in the Valley.
Coach, you've obviously been a coordinator, and this being your first real stint as a head coach. What's the biggest hurdle that you looked in the mirror and said, all right, I need to clear this? Or has it just been a process of taking it all in and trying to absorb everything you can every day?
Yeah, I think it's been a little bit of both. I think you certainly have to step back and evaluate the whole program, offense, defense, special teams, and I think it comes down to trusting the guys in your building that you've hired on your staff, that they are capable and extremely talented at their jobs. You're going to talk to our coordinators here in a little bit, and every single person from the top down on our staff is totally capable of doing their job at a high level. They've been Power 5, Group of 5, Division 2, Division 3, every single spot that you can be at as a coach, they've been there. And the one thing I think that gives our staff a little bit of a boost and a little advantage is I love special teams. I think special teams make or break football games, and bringing in guys like the Montre Braswell that would run kickoffs back for touchdowns and punt returns for touchdowns, and just making a difference on special teams is huge. And we're going to be as dominant as we possibly can on special teams, and that's huge for us. And that, to me, I've always been told that the culture of your program and your football team is how hard you play on special teams. And we're going to fight to the very finish, and we're going to give you everything we got every single play.
I'm glad you brought up culture, because whether it's Pop Warner, middle school, high school, college, pro, every coaching staff preaches a winning culture, right? But how hard or how easy is it to really establish that, in your first year as a brand new coach?
Yeah, it's easy to sit in front of you guys and sit in front of the team and say words, but applying it and being consistent with the usage of those words, the action behind the words is it can be difficult sometimes. But I think when you have the buy-in that we have, and when you have the player-led leaders that we're developing within our program, they've really taken charge of it. You're going to talk to some brilliant young men here in just a little bit from our football team that they have bright eyes, they talk to you, they communicate well, they carry themselves a certain way. We call it contagious confidence. All right, we want them to come in, and when you meet our players, they walk in and they're a different cat. They look different, they walk different, they look you in the eye when they talk to you. And that's what we want to be about, because if you can be that man off the field and you're a good football player on the field, you can handle business when the pressure's on.
When you say culture, you guys have been here for 3 years. Do you even have to do anything to change it, overhaul it at all, or is it just something you've been building on?
We've tweaked things here and there. Obviously, again, we've talked about this at length. I'm not Bobby Petrino. So the way I coach is certainly different in regards to personal relationships and different things involved in the day-to-day than Coach Petrino did. He's a brilliant coach. He's won a ton of football games. I don't have that track record to lean on. I lean on football knowledge. I lean on relationships. I lean on these players understanding that I have their best interest at heart, and I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can to put them in positions to be successful.
Ryan, two-part question for you. Is there anything that has been more difficult than you may have anticipated in your first year? Is there anything that's been easier than you may have anticipated in your first year?
I would say one difficult thing, you're sitting in a defensive staff meeting and you're kind of, getting a good flow on the board, talking some schematics and your phone rings and, maybe there's a leak somewhere that you got to go get fixed or there's something going on administration-wise, but because you, as a football guy, you want to be entrenched in what you're doing at all times. So when you got to step out for, even though it might be 5 minutes, you're still like, oh man, time to go do some head coach stuff and then get back to the football. But that's part of it. Again, that's part of the transition, and it's been good.
Is there any certain part of the offense that you plan to lean on heavily, or is it right now just generally a balanced attack from what you've seen in installs and in camp?
Yeah, we're going to be fairly balanced, but without a doubt, we're going to run to win. You have to run the football in this league. You go against great defenses, great scheme, and big bodies. If we can establish a run game and really invest in our offensive line and knock people off the ball and create a sense of a tough man's mentality, that's really what opens up the pass game. And again, I've been around a bunch of great offensive minds, and I like to listen to them and learn from Jeff Fromm and Bobby and Jim McElwain. The running game opens up those pass lanes. It makes them adjust to where you have to stop the run, where you just death by 1,000 cuts. And when they start coming to you, coming into the trap a little bit, that's when your play action comes open. That's when your deep balls work. And I hope you guys can come out to practice at some point. We'll open it up and let you guys come take a peek, because that's one thing I've been excited about is our wide receivers have really made some big time plays over the top, and we've shown the ability to stretch the field because you have to replace the guys like Ty Scott who built the program. And I feel good about the offense where we're at. Nick's done a great job, and it's been fun to watch Nick come into his own and Nick become Nick Petrino. He is totally capable. He is a good coach that has a brilliant offensive mind and can relate to his players, and he's going to do a great job.
How involved are you going to be offensively? Just the defensive coordinator, you calling plays, just what's your role?
More so game management. So we'll get together and understand exactly the program that we're going to have through fall camp in regards to install, and then obviously I'll have a hand in pretty much everything in regards to game plan. We'll go in, we'll talk about what they see, what they think we can do well, weaknesses, strengths of the opposing program, and then go from there. But in regards to play calling and doing those type things, they're going to do what they do best, and that's call the game offensively and manage their game plan. But I do think there is a time where there's a chance, because again, we're going to play complementary football, that I flip the headset down and go, let's run to win here. And they're already going to have that program in their mind because, again, we've all been together for years. We know what can win in this league, and we know what it takes to win, and I think we're all on the same page.
Cartier's your guy there, running back. Just what have you seen from him to be the one to try to establish that ground game, run to win?
Yeah, we were just talking about I was talking over here with the gentleman earlier, and Cartier looks phenomenal. You're going to see him walk in, you're going to go, wow, man, he's put in the time and the effort to look like you should look for a premier back. And he's been playing unbelievably well, and so far in fall camp, I know we've only been a few days in. The thing with Jacardier is he's got such natural vision. When you look at a running back, are they a speed back, are they a power back? But he's got a nice mix. He's got the big body, big frame to be able to take the punches, but he can also make a jump cut that a lot of people can't see and hit a hole, which is great. And then Ja'Cory Moses is a guy that came in from Western Kentucky, has done some really good things in camp. And then we've got a young stud freshman, Jaden Beck, we call him Jab. He ran, I think he was a 10.68, 10.7, 400 meter in Texas. Really good player. And then, I can't say enough about the group. They've done a good job because you still have Selden Manning, even though he's been beat up from time to time, he's still totally capable.
Well, defensively, do you have any guys out there that are making business decisions, or you got a bunch of guys out there that love contact?
No, we're getting after it. There is no, for right now and where we're at as a program, we don't have the luxury to make business decisions. It's you're either all in or we're getting you out as quickly as we possibly can. There is no half-stepping in this football program. You can either do it the way that we see is fit to do and practice the standard that you need to practice at, or this really isn't the program for you.
And who are the guys out there that are leading that charge for you?
It's been great. It starts, and a lot of times I'm different than a lot of guys. I work back to front. I'm a DB guy at heart. So our two young guys, I guess they're not young anymore, PJ Hall and Todrick McGee at the safety position. They've been here a long time. PJ's been here 4 years. Todrick's been here going on his 3rd year. They know me extremely well. They know the demand, and they know what it takes to play winning football, and they've done a really nice job there. And then Allen Love is trying to lead the defensive line. Jalen Williams, Devin Gorey, they're our core group of defensive linemen that have really done a good job bringing the young guys in and understanding how we do things and how we go about our business. And then we got to figure out who the linebackers are, because Farron, Minelua, I've almost got it right. That's got to be decent. Yeah, perfect. Even Big Farron, yeah, big number 5. The guy you've seen as our Mike linebacker the last few years is no longer with us, and we have to figure out who that guy's going to be, because to me it all becomes your Mike linebacker, your middle linebacker is the communicator. He's the quarterback, and you've got to have a big proud voice in there, and the guys are battling to see who fits that role.
I guess last one, is there anybody out there so far you've seen that's been like, wow, didn't think that kid was going to make that big of a leap already?
Well, I knew he had it in him, but, I'll go back to the wideout position just for a second. Craig Burke Jr., he was banged up in the spring, but he has made some monster catches. He's a hard guy to cover. He's all of 6'4" with a huge wingspan. Stetson Moore, a guy that was injured last year, you're going to speak to him a little bit too. Just a huge mismatch. He looks unbelievable. He's going to walk in and go, wow. But he can run, and he can create mismatches, but he's also willing to put his hand in the ground and block, which is great. And then defensively, I think we've just got a bunch of hungry guys, not a bunch of standout superstars that are going to do their job every single day, and then whoever rises to the top, that's who will start.
Offensive line, it's kind of been the question around here whether it can get there. And how far have you seen it come this year? You guys added a whole bunch.
Tremendously. I'm really excited about the O-line, and I think the one thing that Coach Alvin's done a really good job of is their mindset. They're a tough, nasty group that's willing to mix it up. And I think that's one thing, not that we were missing, but we just couldn't get them past the point of, guys, it starts with you. Every single thing in football, period, starts up front. And we invested a lot of time in the offensive line in regards to recruiting. Brought in quite a few transfers. Still have Christian Loiza here from the old group. Mark Hutchinson, some guys that have been here, but then again, you've got some transfers from Ole Miss, SMU, Tulane, and then some young guys that are coming to show up to camp that have done a really nice job. I'm excited about the group.
Pass rush, we saw it take a step back last year. And a big question going in was how do you replace some of that when Eric Johnson helped so much and went from historic sack numbers to kind of nearly back to the valley. What have you seen from that group to where that can take a step forward? Yeah, winning football is pressuring the quarterback. That's my belief as a defensive coordinator. And when you say pressure the quarterback, it's more about affecting the quarterback. It's either pressure or illusion of pressure, all works the same. But those guys have been fighting all offseason to earn the right, to earn the spot, to get on the field versus Kansas in our opener. Darian Smith, I've mentioned him multiple times. He's done a really nice job. But don't forget who was already here that was just banged up a little bit last year. Devin Gorey can really rush the passer. Good young player that does a good job. Jalen Williams can get after the quarterback. Caleb Dietland's a young guy to be watching for. And then Caden Weist, one of our young players, has really showed up in camp and shown the ability to really have some juice. And when you talk about Eric, you really talk about, again, it's all about self-evaluation. When you look at our defense and how some of the numbers shifted last year, when the big man inside, Anthony Payne, got hurt early in the year, it was a tremendous impact. Again, everybody sees the outside. They see the star players on the edges. He was kind of our leader, our big body inside that replaced Eric. And we've done a good job of that, replacing him with, Armand Wallace has done a good job. I've said Allen Love. They just Tim Brantley, a freshman that you're going to really, really like. He's active. He's a really good player. Alama Collins from junior college. We've done a good job on both of our fronts in recruiting, and they've shown us, they've tried to make us right. Ryan Suliopoulos?
He did.
Okay. Gary Clinton, what's the update on his health?
Gary looks great. He is at full speed. He's another guy that is just plugging away every single day to get better. He's big, he's strong, he can run, he's physical. I like being around Gary. Gary's a good person. He smiles. He enjoys life a lot like I do. He's a good person and a really, really good football player.
Where are we at health-wise, everybody? I'm just kind of early on. Anything surprising or?
Nothing outside the normal camp bumps and bruises. I would say, we had picture day this morning. I bet if you went out and asked, you could probably pry some some bumps and bruises out of some guys. Hamstring's a little tight, got banged up the other day putting uppers on for the first time, but nothing significant of note. So we'll keep that rolling.
Hey, Coach, I know obviously, especially football coaches, you guys take every day, one day at a time, but down the road, there is an opening game against Kansas. How exciting is that for you personally to come here, take over this program, and go play a big D1 program on your debut?
Yeah, it's great. All you want out of life is an opportunity to do something that you strive and work to do, and that's exactly what we have. We have an opportunity. We know the task at hand. Against Coach Leopold up there, I'm no stranger to him. We played against each other in the MAC, and his teams are notorious for being blue-collar hard workers that know how to play football, and he's a great coach. He's gotten Kansas back on track, and we're going to go up there and do the very best we can, and we're going to play hard. I can promise you nobody in that locker room is going to touch the field that doesn't believe in what we're doing and what we're trying to do when we go to Lawrence.
We're not asking you about national championship expectations like we did a year ago when you were sitting there. Just how has that been with the guys? I mean, you see the Valley poll come out, and I know a few of them are going to use that as some motivation, but just kind of, has it helped having that big talk right now? Just what is it for you guys?
I think one thing that we've tried to do throughout the whole camp and even the summers, right when we got the guys here in the summers, guys, it's about us. You're going to have positive and negative in everything in your life. The goal to being a process person and being a process cultured group is taking it day by day and knowing that some days, or some years you're going to come out and you're going to be pick number 3. I think we picked number 3 last year. And other years you're going to be pick number 8. What other people have to say and their view of you really has no meaning when the ball's kicked off on Saturday. Just like we talked about earlier, you have an opportunity to go show what you're all about. And if you put the work in and you've grinded hard enough and prepared hard enough and taken each day seriously and gotten better every single day, there's a good chance that you'll put yourself in a position to win on Saturdays.
Who's your quarterback?
ABC.
Any other questions for Coach Beer?
I just got one more for you. You mentioned Caden Weiss, Wyatt brought up Gary Clinton. Any other local guys that have really jumped out to you so far?
Yeah, Andrew Link's done a good job for us. Really, really well. The thing with the local guys is everyone always asks about them, and they've got. I give them a hard time all the time because a lot of times, like early in camp, they cruise and pack, and we all do it. You go with the guys you're familiar with, and so I have to go over to the lunch table and be like, all right, West Plains, you go to the floor table. Okay, Reed Springs, you go sit with the kid from Georgia. All right, so we try to make sure to help them get out of their little cocoon because it's tough as young people. You always go with what you're comfortable with, but they're a really mature group. All of the guys we brought in, and he might not play this year, but a kid I'm excited about for his future is Cole Forbacher. He can absolutely rip it. He's got a big arm and he's got some savvy to him. Sometimes young guys come in and they haven't found themselves yet as people or players, but he stands tall. He doesn't shy away from getting in the huddle and getting the guys going a little bit, and that's really, really good to see. But I'm proud of the local guys. Cooper Roy's done a good job coming back into the mix. And I consider local, even St. Louis, and a lot of those guys have done a good job. Mike Thiessen, Dallas Winter Johnson, Ryan Boyd, all those guys are state champions. One thing we did a good job was when you select local guys or guys that are around your area, make sure they're winners, and these guys are winners.
All right, Coach, thank you so much.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coordinators will be up next.
Oh, that was probably, yeah.
Now in his 4th season as our OC. And Nick, you just want to kind of start off with just a quick overview of what you've seen in the first few days of camp, and then we'll get to questions.
Yeah, so I'm excited about this year. Obviously, I think we have the best O-line we've had since we've been here. We got a lot of depth there. Right now, the thing is going to be trying to figure out who the best 5 guys are. We have some really good tackles. Christian Loaiza, who was a freshman last year, he redshirted for us. He probably came out as kind of our top guy. He did a really good job in spring, and he's looked really good so far this camp. Another kid who we really haven't practiced yet because he's kind of been out with a hamstring, but Eric, our transfer from Ole Miss, he should be getting back going. I think maybe today or tomorrow. He's been going through some individual. He had a little hamstring pull during the summer, but you know, we have really good tackles, and we might need to figure out which one of them might need to move into guard. As far as the other guard position, right now, Mark has been doing a really good job. In the first couple days, he's really taken the coaching we've had for him. He's always played a little bit the last couple of years, and this year he looks really strong. He's done a really good job. He knows what he's doing. And then our center position, Hudson's done a really good job. He's a smart kid. He wants to be good. He does everything you tell him to do. He's a really tough kid. I think we're going to be a lot more physical up front. Obviously, we should be able to really run the ball with that O-line. They're going to be a lot bigger than we've been. Our pocket should be a lot better because we'll have bigger guys in there. Our center's a lot bigger and more athletic. Our guards are going to be more physical. So I've been really pleased with how our pocket has been without practice. We're not getting as much pressure interior, right? Guys getting pushed into the quarterback, so that's been a lot better. Our running back group is probably one of the biggest strengths of our offense. Obviously, we have Jacardier Wright coming back, who is a complete all-around running back. He can do it all. He's big, fast, physical. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. And I'm expecting him to have a great year. And then we have Selden Manning coming back, who's always done really good things for us. You know, he had to play as a true freshman. He's had a couple injuries throughout the way, but he's healthy right now and he's looking good. We do a lot of things with him out of the backfield. He catches the ball well. He's fast. And then the 2 guys we brought in, I'm really excited about. Jakari Moses and Jaden Becks. They're both fast, explosive guys. We're probably going to build a package where we just get those 2 in the game together because they're explosive. There's a lot of things we can do with them. And then we still have Connor Lair, who has done a really good job for us. He's a local kid. He played linebacker when he first came here. We moved him back to running back in the spring. And he's going to be a guy we can do different things with. We can use him at running back. He can do some things at fullback for us. He's an athletic kid. Sorry, there's bugs on my face. So I'm really excited about our running back group. We should be able to really run the ball, and especially with our tight ends. Gary Clinton has been looking really good. You know, we missed him last year. You know, and right at this time last year, we were thinking we were going to have a really good tight end group. And then in the matter of a week, Gary goes down and Stetson goes down, and we had to play a freshman, who Lance. He's done a really good job. I mean, our tight end group is really good. They not only run blocking, but they can really catch the ball. And then our wide receiver group, obviously there's going to be some new guys out there, right? Ty Scott's not here anymore. So the Z position, right now we got Devontae Key and Jamoria Robinson. Jamoria is a young guy. He redshirted last year. He's down from Florida. He's fast. He's been really working hard. Devontae Key's been with us for a while, and he's got great speed. He just got to be consistent catching the ball. That's his biggest thing, is his consistency. And then as far as our W position, Raylan Sharp has looked really good. He's fast. He can get in and out of breaks. He knows how to work the middle of the field. I'm really excited about Raylan. And then also Hunter Wood, who plays multiple positions for us. Hunter's kind of like our guy. He knows the whole offense. We can put him in anywhere. He's had a really good spring for us. I expect Hunter to have a great year for us. And then at our X position, we got T.O., who didn't really get to go through spring ball because he had a hamstring issue, but he's looked really good. And then Craig Burt, who transferred in from Western Kentucky. He's got it all. He's tall, he's athletic, he's strong. But what I really like about him is his ability to run after the catch. It's something that surprised us, is how well he can run after the catch and how well he gets in and out of breaks. We'll be able to do some things with him to take advantage of his size. And then, the quarterback position, I'm sure everybody wants to know who the starter is going to be. I can't tell you that right now, but what I can tell you is Jacob Clark. He's done a really good job so far. He's running mostly with the ones right now. Now we do rotate him in. Jordan Pichot is kind of right behind him right now. Jordan's a kid who's got a really good arm. His thing is just consistency, in his technique. When he gets kind of off balance or he's not in line, that's when he'll miss some throws. So he's done a lot better job learning the offense, though, Jordan has. And then Chase Brewster is a kid we brought in from UMass. He's a tall, strong kid. He's got a really strong arm. And what I've liked from him so far is he's really intelligent. He wants to know the offense. He wanted to come here because of the offense we run. He wants to be able to throw the ball, and I'm excited about him. The future is bright there. And then I heard Ryan talking about Cole. Cole is our local guy, and he's a really athletic kid. He throws the ball really well. He just got to learn how to play the position. In high school for him, they were an empty every play. All he did was basically get the ball and just stand there. So he didn't really know how to drop, call plays in the huddle, or even sometimes know how to hand the ball off in certain ways. So he's got a lot of learning of how to play the quarterback position. But like when we go out there and we have our big skill group, which is normally quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, and they're running, he's always out in front. So he's a really athletic kid, and I'm excited to see how he keeps continuing to grow. That's kind of every position group there. I'll kind of open it up for questions.
How have you made this offense kind of your own? Have you ever called plays before, anywhere you've been?
Not like during games,
Okay.
but like, I'd always call plays, spring ball and practice and stuff like that, yeah.
And so how's this move been for you? The offense seems to be a lot to be yours now.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very similar offense. It's the same system. We are adding our own little wrinkles to it, trying to find things that we can add to it and expand on. Obviously, I think everything has to always be built around who your quarterback is and what he does well, and then also your personnel. Like we have really good tight ends, we should be able to run the ball, and then we should be able to take shots down the field, and then be able to find ways in there to take shots and special plays and stuff like that. But it's pretty much going to be the same, similar offense that you guys have seen. There might be a little wrinkles here or there, but as far as the base of it, there's not much that's going to change there.
Just talking to Ryan previously, he said this is kind of something you've been waiting to do your entire life, just kind of have this moment to make it yours. Just now that it's here, just how has that changed for you, and how much fun you've been having doing it?
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun. I can't wait till we go out there and play Kansas. And yeah, it's definitely something I've grown up my whole life wanting to do. I've been around the game my whole life. Always when I was out there young, I'd be at every practice, even when I was in first grade. So it's something I've always wanted to do, excited about it, and I think we're going to be really, really good.
You talked about the offensive line, right? Trying to fill some holes here and there, but more athletic, a little bigger, a little stronger.
Yep.
How better is that, or how much better is that for the running game this year with all the different things you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, we should be able to move people. We're going to have really big physical tackles, and then some really big guards, and they're strong. We're going to be a lot more athletic, and they will be a lot tougher up front. And so we should be able to get guys out on the edge, be able to pull our guards and pull our tackles, and they run really well. They're really athletic, so be able to get the ball out on the edge and use our speed at running back. But yeah, it's going to be a different looking O-line. The last 2 years we kind of had some smaller guards, and they were able to get pushed back in the pocket. So we should have a lot more time to throw the ball. And what's kind of tough the last couple of years is you're always kind of scared to call play actions, right? Plays that take longer to develop. And when you have an O-line where you're worried about the protection, it's hard to call those plays all the time. So with this O-line, we should be able to take advantage of the whole playbook, and we should be able to throw the ball and use those play actions, and I'm excited about it. We just got to figure out who those top 5 guys are and where exactly we want them at.
How important is it to get whoever your starting quarterback is up to speed as quickly as possible, since teams are going to see film and they'll start stacking boxes and forcing you guys to try to beat them through the air?
Yeah, I mean, what helps is that as far as Jacob and Jordan, they've already been here for a full year. So they were both here last year, so they went, through the offense. They went through multiple installs, so they know the offense really well. Especially Jacob. He's a really smart, bright kid. I mean, you tell him something one time, he gets it and he understands it. And so that's definitely helped them out a lot. Now, a kid like Chase, he's coming in, he's new. He's done a really good job. I mean, what helps him is his intelligence. He's a really smart kid, and he's played the game, and he really likes our offense. He likes what we do. But yeah, I mean, it comes with experience. Some of these guys haven't played for a couple of years, and it's always hard. You're in practice, and it's always hard to know how a quarterback's going to react to those types of situations the first time they get hit. Like Jacob probably hasn't been hit in 3 years. So you're always talking about, all right, in this scrimmage, should we go live? Should we go live? What if he gets hurt? It's always a hard thing that you have to talk about, but it's something we might have to maybe do just to see how they react. And because first time you get hit, you haven't been hit in a while, and you got to see how they're going to take it. And because I've had quarterbacks before in the past who they couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle that pressure. They couldn't handle getting hit. So it's something we're going to have to find out, and hopefully we can find it out quick.
You want to build your offense around the quarterback. It's a different style of quarterback. Whichever one of those three, then Jason Shelley, who can scramble it around, that's going to make it look a little different, I would think, to the eyes.
Yeah, it'll be a little different. There might not be as much quarterback, read type stuff, but that's why we have great running backs and tight ends and great O-line. But we still will do some of that stuff. I mean, Jacob, he's a sneaky fast. I mean, when he gets running straight ahead, he can go. I don't know how well he'll do making guys miss like Jason used to be able to do, but he's sneaky fast. He can run, and he's a willing runner. He showed that in practice, and we've done some stuff with him, some triple option type stuff, and he does really well with it. He reads it well. He knows how to use ball fakes, and like I said, when he gets running straight ahead, he's pretty fast. And then, you might have to find ways to build in stuff with certain guys that can do stuff like that. Like an athlete like maybe Raylan Sharp, find ways where we can get him possibly to run his own read or what we call quarterback power read or something like that, where you got to find situations to deal, because that stuff really works well, especially against pressure. So yeah, there's going to be a little different. There might not be as much as some things we did with Jason, but there still would be aspects of it in the offense, yeah.
Nick, you mentioned calling plays in spring games and things like that. How excited are you to do that week to week on Saturdays?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I mean, throughout all the games last year, we'd always be talking with each other, and obviously you're always seeing stuff out there, but while you're out on the game, you're always thinking about what would I call it here, what would I do here, and yeah, I'm excited about it. I can't wait for it. That's the type of stuff I love, right? Is to when you can say, I mentally beat this guy, when you outsmart people, that's the type of stuff I love, and I can't wait to do it.
A lot of coaches try to figure out different ways to make the mundane fun, right? You guys are going through a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. What are some ways that you are challenging your guys, but yet being able to have some levity with it at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, you always got to find ways to do stuff like that, We're trying to have some more like group meetings and get our guys together, like meet together as a whole offense. That's kind of one of the biggest things, is how you bring your team together. How do you get them to care for each other, love each other, and want to play for each other. So we've done some stuff like that. We've had more group meetings. Obviously, last night, Brian does a great job with it too. Last night at our walkthrough, we had a little competition to see who on offense could maybe make a field goal, and just stuff like that, and they enjoyed it. And just there was stuff throughout the summer where we got together. We have guys over for dinner and stuff like that. And right now, when you get into camp, it's more football related. You're more focused. I mean, the schedule, you're going all day. I mean, you're out at practice, and then you're in a meeting, and then you go eat, and then you're in another meeting, and then you go eat, and then another meeting. So I mean, it's all day. But definitely, we did a lot of stuff during the summer. And then when you get guys in that are new, you got to find ways to blend them in with everybody. And I think our offense, everybody gets along really well. I think, I just know from my quarterback group, they all really like each other. you know. And that's what's hard sometimes, because with especially that position, you know, one guy plays. And, you know, sometimes it can be tricky because one guy might be frustrated. But right now, it seems like we have a really good group of kids. They all like each other. They all get along. So I'm excited about it.
Much communication you have with your dad, just sharing ideas and everything still?
Yep.
And how much is he still coaching you from afar?
Yeah, I talk to him almost every day. You know, something he does a lot with me is he'll send me pictures or videos of plays that they've done, or stuff that he finds. And, you know, he's helped me out a lot. You know, obviously, growing up with him, and, you know, we've worked together for a while. But yeah, I still talk to him about it every day. And he's excited about down there. He says they've been doing well. But yeah, he helps me out a lot. He sends me stuff all the time. And obviously, when certain situations come up, I always, you know, can call him and ask him, hey, what would you do against this look? Or what would you do against this front or coverage? Or what do you think here? And it's great to be able to have that source of knowledge. It really helps me out a lot. So yeah, I talk to him every day.
How much have you learned from him, not just X's and O's, but about commanding a room? Because when you step up to the coordinator position, now you've got to motivate, communicate with everybody on offense, and not everybody is ready for that. How much of a help has that been in being around your dad?
Oh, it's been a huge help, you know, to watch him throughout the years, lead team meetings, lead position meetings, and other things like that. You know, a lot of people tell me all the time, when I talk, I sound just like my dad. So, I mean, everything I do, I've gotten from him. You know, everything I've learned, I've gotten from him. So, but yeah, I mean, it's all been all throughout my life, seeing how he runs things and how he operates. You know, I do a lot of the same stuff. You know, and a lot of his beliefs are my beliefs. You know, the way I believe we should work, how hard we work. You know, our tempo in practice, everything like that. I've obviously gotten from him. So. But yeah, it's an experience learning it now, and you know, obviously I have some of my own beliefs with how we treat guys and stuff like that, and I think it's been good. I'm excited about the group we have, and they're really good kids. You know, that's the thing about this team. You know, the last couple of years, there's always been a couple kids who've been really kind of frustrating at times. You always have to be on them and knowing everything they're doing. Seems like right now we have a really good team. A lot of really good guys. There hasn't been anybody really like that. So it's been a really good, fun group. They're easy to coach. They want to learn. So it's been a really good group of guys that we have.
I know it's football, and so intensity is like the number one thing everybody's all about. But what is it like, you know, being with your experience, managing different personalities, right? Quarterbacks can be head case guys because they got so much to think about. Other position players have their own issues. How do you handle all those personalities and make it one cohesive unit?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of learn, you know, obviously there's the personality, but also how different guys learn differently, right? You got to be able to treat guys, you know, some guys, you got to be on them, you know. That's the way to get them to do. You got to be on them all the time. And some other kids, you got to love them up a little more and try to take care of them and talk to them nicely and explain things really easily. And so it's always about learning kind of who your players are, how they learn, how they react to different things. Like for instance, Jordan, right? If you really get on him, he kind of goes down, you know, and then he'll kind of be bad for the next couple of plays. So he's a kid that I kind of got to be a little easier with and talk to him a little softer. And so it's just something you got to learn with each player and how they react to certain things. And yeah, it's kind of like that.
All right, Nick, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Great job. We'll have LD Scott next.
Exciting, it's been intense. The guys have been competing. That's what it's all about. We got a lot of new guys. We got a lot of open positions. So we got a lot we need to find out, and we're just getting started. So we don't have a lot of answers right now, but we do have a good team. We do have a talented team. They're young, they're inexperienced, but right now they're flying around. And that's what it's all about.
It's kind of changed with your promotion to defensive coordinator. I know Ryan still plans on calling plays, but just kind of how's that kind of work right now?
So right now I gotta look more at what we're doing schematically in the back end, and just for myself, we have very capable coaches. Obviously, Coach Beer is very involved. We have 4 DB coaches, on staff. So those guys are doing a great job. They've always done a great job. I'm just learning for myself to try to learn more about what they do and how it ties into what I do. And that's a learning experience for me, something that I'm excited about. But not much. I'm still the D-line coach, and as far as I know in this league, if you're going to win, the D-line's going to do really well. So I still got to stay focused on what's most important.
How's that group improved? We saw some numbers take a step back. Of course, the Anthony Payne injury changed a lot for that defensive line earlier in the year. Just how's it look on the defensive line right now?
Right now, it looks really good. You mentioned the injury to Payne in the second game of the year. That was huge. I was giving the guys a hard time the other day that he only played 2 games and he had more sacks than most of y'all. So that was a huge loss. Obviously, losing Eric the year before was also a huge loss. But I went into recruiting to make sure that I got us enough guys, enough talent, enough depth so that we can sustain injuries like that going forward. Right now, Jalen Williams has done a great job. He's had a phenomenal spring. He's done a great job leading, great job getting better. I added a great running mate to him with Darian Smith. He's a transfer from Charlotte. Darian's come in, he's been a pro. He's come in with the right mentality, the right work ethic. He watches film almost as much as I do. He's a football rat. He loves the game, he studies the game. He's great to coach right now. Devin Gorey, he's coming off an injury from last season, so he didn't participate this spring. He's been fully cleared, he's healthy. We're getting him back into shape because it's been a long rehab. But I know what Devin can do. He's been able to finish games for us, sacking the quarterback and affecting the quarterback. So I think we got a really good rotation going with those 3 guys at the end position. At D tackle, Armand had a great spring. Armand Wallace. He's been a rotational reserve player for us over the last few years. He's taken his game to another level. He's very fundamentally sound. He knows exactly what I want him to do. He's been able to watch those guys for the last few years. And so is Allen Love. Both those 2 guys are seniors and juniors. They're experienced. They know what this league is about. They know how I coach, what I demand. And they're setting a great example. Sterling Smithson, he went out for practice yesterday with a low minor injury, so we got to get him back out there as soon as we can. But this should be a big year for him as well. And we have some really, really young defensive linemen that I'm not going to say much about because I think you're going to see that we recruited really well on the defensive line, and those guys are the future. With Caden Weiss, a kid from Reed Springs, and Andrew Link, a kid from right here in town, Kickapoo High School. And then I got 2 young defensive linemen. One of them, his name is Tim Brantley from Texas. He's from the powerhouse out of Texas. He was a guy that really wasn't recruited very highly, but he's already probably the strongest, most explosive defensive lineman on the team already. So we're very happy to have him here. And the other one is Mitchell Tony, a kid from Kentucky. Same thing, the transfer portal and all these different things that are going on. High school kids are falling through the cracks, and I'm very happy that both of them developed. They've been pleasant surprises, and I think you're going to like what they do in the future.
Coach, communication is such a critical part for defensive success. What kind of luxury is it to have some veteran guys on this team that you've been with, Coach Beard's been with, that understand your language, understand how the game needs to go in certain situations?
So that's a great point. Communication is one of our keys to this season. We call it absolute communication. And that's going to be crucial to what we do. We see a lot of different styles of play, not only from our offense, but from this conference. And you're right, we do have some guys that have been around, haven't started many games, but have all have experience, especially at the safety position with PJ and Todrick. They've been around Coach Beard, who is the coordinator, but also coached them at their position. they're going to do great at communicating in the back end and just shoring up a little bit of defense. And then Vaughn Young and Taj Chambers have both been around us for multiple years. They've played special teams. They've worked their way up. These guys have all made plays. We all had great springs. And honestly, they're going to need to lead us.
You're kind of a soft-spoken guy, but I know out there on the field, things change a little bit. What is it like to have a unit on defense which is just, go 100%? What's it like to have those maniacs up there and kind of let them do the damage they get to inflict when your system's working?
So it's a lot of fun for me. I do a lot of my work through the week. On game day, I tell my guys, I'm your biggest cheerleader, man. We're going to be positive on game day. We're going to adjust to what happens. But I'm going to push them. I'm going to be all over them on every single detail throughout the week. Practice is hard. On games, we just want to have fun. I want my guys to have fun on game day. No matter what the score is, no matter the situation, we just got to go out there and do what we practice to the best of our ability, and we'll live with the results.
Replacing Farron, just how's that process been and trying to figure out who's going to be making a lot of those vocal calls for you guys?
So it's gonna fall on Bird, whose real name is Jared Lloyd, but he just goes by Bird.
Why?
But Bird is a redshirt freshman linebacker who, he played a little last year. He flashed at times last year, but he was a little immature. He was young. He's really taken on that role. He understands the expectation Coach Johnson has. Coach Johnson's the best linebacker coach I've ever been around. So I trust him to get him ready. He says those are the guys, those are the guys. Bird is his guy right now. He's done a great job. He understands exactly what we need him to do. And he's not going to be able to replace Farron just like that. Farron was a really, really good football player for us. Played a ton of football. Great leader. And honestly, helped us win a lot of games. I think Bird is more talented. He's just not enough yet. He's going to have Vaughn to lean on. He's going to have Taj to lean on. And hopefully some of those guys up front that will help him not have to make every single call as he grows and learns. But we trust him. He's working hard. And like I said, he's really talented. He just needs more reps.
Why's he Bird?
Well, I don't know. That's just his nickname. I couldn't tell you. I've never asked him. That's just, with kids today, we kind of want to make them feel comfortable, especially coming from Florida. That's what you go by? All right, cool. We'll call you that. But that's just what all of his teammates know. I actually had to ask Vaughn before I came in here what his first name was. His last name was Lloyd, because I've seen it on his jersey, but I kind of forgot his first name because he just goes by Bird.
You talk about comfort. Obviously, the guys in Kansas are going to make sure you guys are as uncomfortable as you can be. So how do you teach these players, a little mix of veterans and young guys, how do you teach them to be comfortable in an uncomfortable environment? How do you guys simulate that?
Well, we got to be, we got to have great practices. We got to get uncomfortable in practice and be used to being uncomfortable. It's going to be a great environment. They have a really good football team. Their program is on the rise. There's going to be a lot of excitement with the quarterback they have and the offense that they have. We can't simulate it all. But what we can do is we can try to settle our guys down. There's going to be highs and lows in the game, as we all know. But with us having a lot of really, really young and inexperienced players, we just got to do what they can do. We don't want to go out there and try to do too much. That's kind of one of the tricks to defense is you don't want to be too simple, but you don't have answers on Saturday. You don't want to be too complicated, or you can't play fast. So you just gotta grow as the season goes. We don't want to go out there and do too much. We want to go out there and be who we are. We want to play fast, bear swarm, and we'll get better no matter the result.
For Roy, where does he kind of fit? Because we've seen him as an edge rusher here in town, state's leading sacker, just listed as a linebacker. Just what does he project as? I know he has all his eligibility remaining, just a freshman, but just what's kind of his future position-wise?
So his future right now is an outside backer. We'll call that a different position in certain packages, but his role will be to affect the quarterback. We'll get him out there in a couple of variety of different ways of rushing the passer. That's what he's great at. That's what he's our best pass rusher this spring. So we'll continue to build off of that. But he's a very young player, like you mentioned. He's still got 5 years. He's still got a redshirt year. So we have to grow him slowly. We don't want to overload him. We don't want him out there thinking too much. We want him to just go do what he's always done best, and that's effective quarterback.
Deep cornerbacks room, just having some different names in there, especially with Montre being gone. Just how do you kind of pick the two or the three kind of in this day of football? But how do you kind of pick them?
That's probably the toughest battle on this team. We're not bringing back much experience at the corner position. We had a couple guys that played last year, Donovan Clark, Jamal Murray. They're battling. I would say that we really have starters at corner. Multiple guys are rotating. It's a very, very deep room. That was one of our emphasis on this past recruiting class, was to become deeper in the back end. We have more DBs on scholarship than we've had in the 3 to 4 years that we've been here. That's kind of the approach I wanted to take once I became coordinator. I told Beard we have to affect the quarterback and we have to be able to cover guys. That's the key. We've done a decent job since we've been here stopping the run. We know what this league is about, stopping the run, but you really, really have to put pressure on the quarterback position. You have to be able to cover some of these dynamic receivers that we see in some of the top teams in this league. We brought in a lot of DBs. We brought in a lot of defensive linemen because we think that's going to be the key. But I will call out Kalino Levine. Kalino is a junior college transfer from one, I think it's TJC in Texas. But he had a great spring. He's the start corner. He's the top corner right now. Very fundamentally sound. Watches film. Stops by our office right twice a day. He's a great person, great kid. And he's becoming a leader. His playmaking ability is for sure there, and that's kind of what we really love about him. He's afraid. He's not afraid to go attack the ball. He's not afraid to be aggressive and challenge guys. He's our top guy right now. And we have some other guys that have come in. We have a freshman from Arkansas, Floyd Williams. And Floyd has done a phenomenal job right now of learning. And as we bring him along, the ability, the talent, it's all there. He's just, hasn't done it before. But the movement skills, kind of what the DB coaches have told me about him so far, he's going to be a guy that's going to really challenge for some reps. As we move along in camp, we have more evaluations, scrimmages, things like that. We'll be able to see if he can handle being the guy.
One last thing from me. You mentioned aggression. Going back 4 months to your spring game, there were at least 2 or 3 plays I remember seeing that you guys lit some of the offensive guys up. You guys love to tackle, obviously. How much fun is it to have guys that want to hit somebody hard?
So that was a bittersweet day for me. It was great seeing some of my D linemen play well, but I was actually on the other team, so I was watching my line get destroyed by some of those guys. So I was happy for them, but I was also trying to motivate the D line. I was coaching. We got to pick it up. Those guys are taking over. I was on the losing team in the spring game. But it's fun. It's kind of what we work for. And I'm really excited that we were able to go out there and perform. The biggest thing for us in coaching is we got to get guys to perform every day. We can't become complacent. We know what our standard is here. We know what the expectations are. We know what outside interest of our team and what we're going to do. We just got to keep a chip on our shoulder every day. We got to just keep that edge. Not go over the edge, but we really got to push it. O-line, D-line, linebackers. We got to be physical. It's a physical league. If you're not as physical as the other team, you really don't have a chance to win.
Coach, I think that's it for your questions. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach.
Hope another
And our players up next.
Good.
Defensive side of things, Stetson Moore, Andrew Cartier Wright on the offensive side of the ball. And we'll jump straight into questions for these guys, and then we'll go from there.
Vaughn, just kind of getting going this past week. Just what do you notice different about this team and the way you guys are playing?
It's been fun. All the guys are really excited to get back out there. Everyone's working really hard, and we're ready for September 1st.
Jacardi, we've been talking to coaches all day, all morning, and they've been talking about how well you've been playing, how well you came in the camp. Just knowing that they're going to try to establish the run a little more of this year. Got to be music to your ears, and how's that offensive line look?
The offensive line, they're looking actually phenomenally well right now. You know, a lot better than last year. You know, we got some new transfers that came in and put on. So hopefully it's going to be a good year.
So what do you notice different up there when you're running behind them?
Physicality. You know, it seems like everybody is focused and want to be there now, you know. Last year was just, I feel like our focus wasn't all the way there. So honestly, this year it's been focused for them.
As the quarterback battle kind of figures itself out, they've all talked about how important the running game is going to be this year. Help the passing game and give you guys some steady dose of clock management. What is so fun about working in this offense under, you know, Coach Petrino and Coach Beard as he takes over in his first year?
Can you repeat that again?
Sorry, what's so much fun about working in this system? I know you guys know Coach Petrino and Coach Beard, but in his first year, what's the difference you've seen in the change in regimes?
Honestly, it hasn't been, you know, a huge difference without Coach P. You know, Coach Beard brings the same mentality and respect, honestly. So we're just trying to take it day by day and get 1% better.
Stutz, you want to take that one too, just to
I'll take the same on that too. Learning from Petrino and Beers about the same comparison. They both want to win games, and they both teach the game the same way. They both they love us like we love them.
Stetson, they wouldn't give us a starting quarterback today, but you're the one catching passes from them. Like I ask you to name a starter, but just what's it been like catching the ball from these guys, and what's different about them? What stands out?
They're being nice. They all can move. Everybody can throw pretty good. Like I don't see like no difference. Like all of them can start. They all do the same thing. They roll. Everything looks good. JP storing the ball good. Jacob looking awesome. And the transfer we just came in looking great too. Like they all looking awesome to me.
Are there any challenges that go along with, you know, not knowing for sure, or I mean, how do you handle something like that?
It's kind of hard. It's really when we get in like full pass and we can see how they actually react when the D in their face in this full speed for real and ball, and then you can tell the difference when we get to playing blue. But we'll see in the next week or two when scrimmages.
Vaughn, is this your third head coach?
Yes, sir.
Just having to do that every other year, it seems like, for you, just being the old guy.
Yeah.
How much have you seen this thing change and where it's at right now?
It's changed a lot from my freshman year in 2019. We went 1-11 that year. So it's been good to see the culture change whenever Petrino came in, and now with Beard coming along too. It's been really fun to see.
And what's the difference there between Beard and Petrino? Is it really anything?
No, not really. I mean, they both want to win games just like us. They know what they want. They're energetic, and they love the game of football.
What's it like for you guys to go through spring practice and now in camp? I know a lot of people are focused on just their role, but how important is it for you guys as leaders to try to teach the rest of the team, especially the younger guys, hey, we have to learn to play as one? How important is that?
Let me start with PJ on this one.
I say it's really important, just to be the example for the guys, for the younger guys. Just show them the way, because you want them to be as good as us when they get in our position. And so, yeah.
Anybody else want to take it?
As I'm teaching a young tight end right now, I was telling them how bad my technique was and how nervous I was when I first started college. It's not too much of a difference. You just gotta learn not to be nervous. Even Coach Beard told me just calm down. It's the first day. Just enjoy football. It's like waking up, doing the same thing over and over. Just calm down. It's really just teach them. Keep teaching them, and eventually they'll get loose and you'll feel comfortable.
you guys have played enough games to know, right, how to calm down your own nerves. You mentioned that. When you go to kick off the season in Lawrence, Kansas, right, the crowd's going to be crazy. It's going to be a whole different atmosphere. So how do you guys make sure that your intensity doesn't allow the nerves to overtake your mind and you guys make dumb plays or you just let your emotions get the better of you instead of staying focused?
It's another game of football. You know, like it could be a bigger crowd, it could be a smaller crowd. It's another game of football. We all the same age. You know, we put on our pads the same way they do. We just gonna come out there with the same intensity that we would have last game.
PJ, how's it been watching that secondary come together? New corners all over the place. Just what's going to be different about this, and how's it coming along?
It's coming along well. You know, we got a lot of guys that's coming in ready to compete, and I feel like that's the biggest thing. These guys are coming up with energy. You know, we're playing hard. The secondary is looking good from what I've seen. So just as long as we keep coming together, keep building that chemistry, just communicating all around, flying around, being intense.
Vaughn, having Jared Lloyd stepping in the Farron role, just a bird, I guess. So, you know, well, you know why we call him bird?
I'm not sure.
Nobody knows. It's just, what does he bring, and just being a young guy in that spot?
He is a young guy, but he's been really good for us. He picks up the playbook really well. He's intense. He's big. He's strong. And he likes to play. He likes to hit too. So I think he's going to do really well for us this year.
Did you say you didn't know who I was talking about when I said Jared Lloyd?
I never knew it was Bird.
It's just Bird. All of you know Bird.
Always calling Bird every time I've been here.
Always Bird. Jacardia, just with Nick Petrino in charge of that offense, what kind of changes have you seen? Just kind of the way that offense is run, called, and the way you guys have worked this summer.
You know, he's his dad's son, you know, so they kind of called it the same way. But hopefully we put some more runs in there and, you know, get me going and the other backs. So, hey, that's what I'm hoping for, you know.
Hey, since you guys are probably going to be more of a run-heavy team this year, how much fun is it to know that your number's going to get called a lot? Like, you're going to get your touches, you're not worried about the numbers, you're going to get production there.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. And I hope that, you know, all the other running backs can, or that's actually going to play can, you know, go in there and get their touches as well. You know, we're all pretty good. We're all different, but, you know, we can all contribute to this team in the right way. So hopefully, you know, start to run the ball a little bit more. Let's see.
Stetson, what are you seeing in those new receivers? You're out there a lot with them. Just what are, don't have high stats, of course, but just kind of what's going to fill that void?
They fast. They are fast. They all fast. They all can catch. I like them a lot. I like that they all are very about the same and they route running. And it will open it up for me to get the ball too. So I'm glad that they can run routes good and perfect. I don't have to think about, oh, do we need help with the plays? And Raylan will help them in their category too on the routes. And it opened it up for all the tight ends because that's another thing we need to get more involved in offense too. That's going to be a big thing this year.
How much bigger did you get this offseason?
I gained. I lost 5 pounds, but I toned up a little bit more.
Okay, you look a little different. This
That's what it is. He's sitting next to me.
Starting this year off healthy for you. That's, we saw the expectations we had on you kind of early in the year. You start out slow. Just making sure you're healthy and getting out there. Just what do you think can change for you in that way?
Yeah, that was a big thing. Breaking my collarbone before the season started. Just a little adversity that I battled. I came back, tried to make plays for my team to get in the best position to win. I tried my best opportunities I got in. But the biggest thing I've been trying to stay healthy and see if I can make it through camp and get ready.
Vaughn, looking at the kind of a new defensive line, some new guys, some of the same, some of the old. Just how's that shaping up?
It's honestly been the same. The guys, they're stepping up really well. They're all big and strong. Again, they're learning the playbook really well. So I think there won't be much difference there. We're still going to have a really big, strong, fast D-line this year.
Any other questions for the players? All right, guys, thanks for your patience while you're waiting for the coaches to be done. These are all preseason, all conference guys too, by the way, so congrats for that. So.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it.
Shot up, that is in, Mario the win! Have room to run. Also district champion. Toronto and both there. Henry is